Here's the project we're going to do today. I'm calling this one Sunset Wave. And these are the stamps that were used. The wave is from the Stampscape's Nature Sheet 5. The palm trees are from the Nature Sheet 11. The little flock of birds, the swimmer, and the filler waves were all from Nature Sheet 5. And these are cloud stripes, 296C. And then from Gina K Designs, these two stamps are from the Tropical Nature set. And for those of you who are interested, these are the supplies that I use, the inks and the markers and the colors and whatnot. And if you'd like to pause to read this, you can. I also recorded the video for when I did this practice session just on regular glossy printer paper, and so I'll play that first, really sped up at the beginning of this video. It shouldn't take too long because I am not going to pause for anything. It's just going to be one long thing. And then when that's finished, then we'll start with the video of when we made this. Okay, this was the test work piece that we did on just some glossy printer paper. So now we're going to try it on the chrome coat. So I'm going to start with the wave, and I'm going to put it right down at the bottom. And this time I think I want it to go off the bottom because in this piece I didn't like having to add more waves down here to the bottom. And so I'm going to use my stamp positioner. And last time I did it a combination of black and blue, but this time I'm just going to stamp it in black. Okay, now we'll do the palm trees, and I'm going to have this little crick in the stamp come right into this little gully right here. That's how I'm going to position this. And then we'll just pick up the stamp. Now this time I'm going to just manually draw this, and so I'm going to start by coloring the palm trees with my Marvy Le Plume 2, number 15, olive green, and I will just color in the palm fronds. I'm going to use some pine green. This is number 72 pine green. And I'm going to color in the fronds with black. I'm just using the black Memento. Stamp these off, so I'll just put a piece of scrap paper and I will stamp them off. Then I will stamp it down. Okay, very good. And I'm using a little plastic L here that I use so that I can offset this. Alright, now I want to color the grass down here with the green. And then I want to do the trunks of the trees with number 72. This is sepia. Okay, now I want to fill in the rest over here. And so I'm going to use the wave stamp for that, and I'm going to stamp that in Memento Tuxedo Black. Okay, I want to put the surfer and the waves here. And so I'm going to, this time, ink them up in black. And so I just want to ink up the surfer. And I'm going to use my stamp positioner for this. So I'm going to stamp it on the acrylic plate so that I can get the placement of the swimmer just right. And I think that's pretty good right there. So I'm going to ink them back up. I want them to be good and dark. And just stamp them in here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to use my number 45 sepia and just kind of color in the shoreline over here. Just very Now I've used a circle punch here. This is about a 15 millimeter punch, and I punched out some Post-it paper, and I'm just going to put that down about like that. Now I'm going to start inking in my sky. I'm going to start with Distress Ink Antique Linen, and I'm going to use my yellow Distress blending brush, Tim Holtz blending brush. Next I'm going to do Distress Ink Victorian Velvet. The next layer is going to be Seedless Preserves. The last layer will be Chipped Sapphire. And I think I'm going to put in some Stormy Sky. Okay, now we can remove the mask for the sun. And I'm going to want to use some Hero Arts Unicorn White pigment ink. Okay, I'm going to get a Q-tip and clean off. Okay, now I want to put some clouds in the sky, so I'm going to use the Memento Tuxedo Black. Okay, I'm going to take my fine tip of my black Marvy marker Okay, and let me try and touch up. Some of this pigment ink is turning the color of the background. Okay, I'm going to take my number 72 Marvy marker. Okay, and I have a couple of palm frond stamps from Gina K Designs, which I'm going to try and stamp up here to give the impression of sticking something closer by. And so I am going to ink these up. Okay, I'm gonna take in my sepia, and with my fine tip I'm gonna finish these stems so that they come off. Okay, I'm gonna try one of these Fantastics, the little bullet tip. It's kind of got a nice bullety type tip. And I'm going to take the chipped sapphire Okay, I'm going to let this dry for a little bit. I want to give that pigment ink a chance to dry. And then I'm going to try re-stamping the water to see if we can get some of the detail of the wave back. Okay, I'm going to heat set it a little bit with my heat gun to see if it can dry better. The clouds came over these trees here, so I'm going to see if I can darken these trees where the clouds have. Okay, I have a little piece of plastic here that I'm going to put down. And I'm going to take my wave and I'm going to place this kind of where it is on the piece. Oops, I got to turn this around. Oops, I got some pigment ink on this. And I'm going to take this out. And I'm going to put my plastic in. And I'm going to ink it up. Now I've got this piece of plastic as far into the corner as it can go. And I want to get a good impression on this piece of plastic, and so okay. Now what I'm going to do is position this underneath, because I've stamped it on the plastic, and so now I want to get it just right. So it needs to be up a little bit there. And so you can see it matches pretty good right there. So I want to be careful that I don't move the piece. And I'll put some magnets down to hold it in place. And let's see, probably to be on the safe side too, I'm going to put a piece of tape on, not the part that has all the pigment ink, but up here And this is just washi tape. And I'll just put those down like that. Then I'll get my Memento Tuxedo Black. And I'll ink up the wave. And I can double check the placement here. And that looks pretty good. And so I will stamp this down. And there we got some detail back into the waves. It's not perfect, but it'll do. On the outside of this wave, you can see the ghosting of where it wasn't perfectly stamped. And so I'm just going to take the fine tip of my black Marvy, and I'm just going to color this in. And I'm going to take the fine tip of my number 45 Marvy marker and just darken up these trunks to the trees a bit. Okay, and I want more waves below the surfer here, so I'm going to get a white gel pen so I have better control and just color the white down there. And also, okay, and the last thing I want to do is I want to sign and date it. So I'm going to take my fine tip of my Marvy Le Plume black and sign and date. And I'm going to give it a little bit longer to dry, then I'm going to spray it with the spray to protect it, and then we'll come back and see the final results. And here is the final result.